What's going on, you guys? This is Luke with Dark Fiction Factory. Today we are taking a look at an iconic 8-bit horror character and the mystery that surrounds it. In 1989, LJN released Friday the 13th on the Nintendo Entertainment System. The game was developed by the Japanese company Atlus. Now, this game was originally met with very harsh criticism. In 1997, the magazine Nintendo Power ranked the game as the 6th worst game ever made. The author of the article even went as far as to state, quote, "After playing a few minutes of this aardvark, you wanted Jason to slaughter all of the counselors and then you. Anything so it would just end." Ouch. But some fans will defend this game to this very day. It has grown a deep sense of nostalgia amongst gamers and fans of the Friday franchise. Some say it's too hard and doesn't do a very good job of instructing the player on how to proceed. Others find it to be a fun challenge and enjoy the thrill of turning the corner and bumping into Jason, our serial killing icon. In the films, Jason is typically wearing drab colors like brown, gray, or dark green. But for some reason in this game, his jumpsuit is purple with turquoise blue shoes and mask. Now that brings us to the topic of today's video. Why is Jason purple? But let's take a look at some theories that may explain the developer's curious choice. Let's start with the movie poster theory. There was a Japanese movie poster for Friday the 13th Part 3 way back in the day. Now, it's hard nowadays to sometimes pin down what were real movie posters at the time and what is just fan art and things like that, especially for a movie that's decades old and we're talking about a foreign movie poster. But I think this is the one that people are referring to when they talk about this theory. This is actually a pretty badass poster. Given that the game was developed by a Japanese company, they could have taken inspiration from the Japanese poster. Although I personally doubt that the developers solely decided to make Jason purple and blue based just on this poster. But it definitely could have played a part in the creative decision making. Another speculation is that Jason looks the way he does because of the shortcomings of the NES hardware. Now, I'm not an expert on graphics, on retro game systems and whatnot, but I find it a little far-fetched that Jason either accidentally ended up this color or that the developers had no other choice to make him this color because of the Nintendo's lack of power. I can't really think of other examples of characters being so dramatically reskinned. I mean, let's look at a couple other horror games. Here's Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street. He's not randomly some dramatic other color, he looks pretty close to how he looks in the film. Or how about Jaws? The shark isn't randomly some bright orange or bright pink for no reason. That leads me to believe that this decision was made and not something that just accidentally happened or they had no other choice because of the Nintendo's power capabilities. Another theory that I think is maybe most plausible is that they made Jason this color to simply make him pop off screen and stand out. I think Nintendo was just going for something different here, and when you play this game, when you come around a corner and you bump into Jason and the music is going and he pops off the screen in that blue color, it really does work. It's definitely the most exciting part of the game. Let's just say that. If Jason had just been in a gray jumpsuit, he definitely wouldn't have popped off the screen or become the iconic retro skin that it has become nowadays. So after some research, there doesn't seem to be any definitive concrete answer as to why 8-bit Jason is purple. But I would say this odd choice to change the character's color is really what makes it so nostalgic all these years later. This retro look of Jason continues on in a lot of popular collectible figures like pop figures and NECA figures, with cosplays at horror conventions, and even modern video game skins. I recently saw that even the Spirit Halloween store now carries an 8-bit Jason Halloween costume. Although they add this weird, unnecessary Jason name tag to the chest, but I digress. Personally, I'd love to see this version of Jason show up in an actual film. Now, the big studios behind Friday the 13th can't even get out of their own way with contracts and litigation to actually even make another movie, so it's probably not going to be in an official film. However, there's so many great Friday the 13th fan films. The Never Hike Alone series comes to mind. I've seen plenty of Friday fan films, but I've actually never seen one with a Jason wearing any sort of outfit that resembles the 8-bit blue and purple. Now, maybe that does exist. If you're watching this and you do know of a fan film that uses the retro Jason look, feel free to drop it in the comments below and I will definitely go take a look. And one final thought is, Jason and Friday the 13th have become so popular nowadays, but we're in 2025. We're talking about back in the 1980s. They were only on Friday the 13th Part 3. And remember, Jason didn't even get his iconic mask and his look until Part 3, right? So he wasn't a super popular, iconic sort of figure that he is in popular culture today. So it is possible that the fact that this game was developed in Japan, and it's the early days of video games, where it's not quite as big a business as it is today, it's possible they just didn't even really know what they were doing. Maybe they never even saw the film, for all we know. They probably just knew the premise, so it's possible that the creators didn't choose to make him purple and blue for any real reason other than they just didn't really know any better. Anyway, that's going to put a knife in this video. If you guys have any ideas, theories, or something that you know about that I didn't mention in this video about why Jason is purple, feel free to drop it in the comments below, and let's discuss it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Until next time, stay retro and take care.